Welcome back to the green yard and to a beautiful June afternoon. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon right now, and I am so excited to say that we are doing a harvesting video today. We're harvesting our mystery grapes here. The reason I say mystery grapes, and you may catch that if you've been watching the channel for a little bit, when I did our mini stone fruit orchard tour, I did mention that this was a Thompson seedless grape. That's what I planted, was a Thompson seedless grape. The grapes themselves, though, are ripening into a red grape. So you'll see here I have my bunch, my beautiful bunch of grapes right here in my hand, and they have ripened into this wonderful red grape color. They are quite delicious. This is actually the almost the last bunch I have on here. I have harvested a couple other ones when they were green because I thought it was a Thompson seedless grape, which means you harvest when they're green. But as they've turned red, I now know that it is clearly a mystery variety of grapes. From my research, it looks maybe like a flame seedless grape or a Cardinal grape. I'm not sure, because what I bought was that Thompson seedless, but nonetheless, I am very excited to be harvesting some of my own food, right? We have this beautiful grape bunch that my kids actually are really enjoying these grapes. They're quite delicious, and I'm going to be trying them on camera for you as well here in a little bit. It's been a little bit hot. We're kind of in the middle of June here in Phoenix, and it's starting to get a little warm. It's about 106 today, and next week we're actually going to be up in the teens. I think the lowest high temperature next week is going to be 110, so we're going to have those 115, 116 degree days, which will really put a test to our microclimates like our tropical food forest. If you haven't seen that video, I'll include a link to it, but we do have that beautiful microclimate with those huge giant mulberry trees that protect our tropical fruit trees like our soursop, our jackfruit, our jaboticaba, our longans, our lychees, our gramichama tree, those trees that necessarily don't like that afternoon sun, that blazing sun. And then of course we have our bananas, we have our stone fruits that do really well with that intense heat and will do great even in that 115, 116 degree days. We've got a really great season with our dwarf bonanza peaches. Check out that video as well. Harvesting those. We're actually done with those peaches, but it was a great harvest. We ended up getting about 40 to 50 peaches off that tree. And pretty soon we're going to have our pink lady apple trees. This beautiful apple tree behind me is just loaded with grocery store size apples, and we're going to be doing a harvest video on them as well here in the next couple weeks. But let's talk a little bit more about our mystery grapevine, how grapevines do here in the valley, and then of course try some of these beautiful, delicious grapes. Here we go. Alright, so here is our mystery grapevine. Like I mentioned before, it looks like it's one of those, either a Cardinal or maybe a flame seedless grapevine here. Last year I mentioned in our mini stone fruit orchard video that I did totally neglect this vine last year. It actually was growing on the ground by where that bunch of grapes are that I just picked. I just had it growing on the ground. I didn't even stake it up or anything. This year I did put some cattle panel that I had left over, attached that to our brick wall, and now it is climbing and growing up that cattle panel up onto that brick wall. Grapevines do like to climb. They also need to be trimmed back though in the winter to allow them to properly set that fruit. One thing to remind you guys that are watching this video is that I'm not an expert. I am just sharing with you what has worked for me here in our Zone 9B in our Phoenix area, and my successes, my struggles, my failures, my harvests. So my goal is to share those with you. I don't necessarily know the proper genetics of a pink lady apple tree. Here's our pink lady apple tree, or anything like that. I am simply just someone that loves to grow plants, is really excited about feeding myself and my family with what I grow, and being a little bit more self-sustainable and just a little bit more food conscious, knowing where my food comes from. Our grapevines here in Phoenix do really well. You can see here we still have a couple bunches of grapes left on here. Those couple bunches of grapes have been eaten a little bit by the birds. I did not cover anything this year. I just wasn't that excited about it. We actually have a little tiny bunch there that's still ripening, which is cool. So with our grapevines, they do like to climb, as I mentioned before. There are a lot of pests here in the Phoenix area that do attack our grapevines. Luckily, so far, I have not had any issues with them, but we do have our skeletonizer caterpillars that will come in and just totally skeletonize all the leaves. You can see here as well, we do have some, I believe those are thripes, that are eating away, or some type of mite that are eating away at the leaves. Most pests really like those grapevines. I do try to interplant my trees and everything in this manner. You can see I have my apple trees in front, and my goal is to actually put in some shrubs, some flowering shrubs, to kind of add more biodiversity to this mini stone fruit orchard, and hopefully confuse any of those pests so that way they don't go after our beautiful dwarf bonanza peach tree or our yellow egg plum, and they stay away from our mystery grapevine here. I do fertilize this grapevine with fish emulsion once a month. I think that has really helped it in being so successful in its second year in the ground. I did plant this last spring, last April of 2022, and it's growing immensely. So let's go ahead and try some of those beautiful mystery grapes that we have here. So, little short video about our grapevines here. I did want to just include it since I have been harvesting some of these grapes. As I mentioned before, this is actually a pretty good sized bunch here. I really like this bunch. Most of them have been about this size. You can see the birds got to a little bit of some of these grapes, but this is a pretty good sized bunch for our homegrown grapes here. So I'm very, very happy with this. I tried to pick the other ones just before they started turning red. I think next time, they were still very sour, the other ones that I've tried. I think next time I really do have to bag those grapes as best I can, and then just kind of wait until they get to be this color, because I have a feeling these are going to be a lot sweeter. They're going to taste a lot better. So let's go ahead and let's try one of these grapes. Just gonna go ahead and pick one off here. So we have our not quite all the way red grape here. Really good. Still a little bit sour, surprisingly. So let's try one of our ones that are a little bit darker in color. That's it. So definitely with these guys, whatever this mystery grape is, like I said before, I think it's Cardinal, or probably more likely that flame seedless grape. But definitely wait until they get to this darker color. They are delicious. Very sweet in flavor. One thing that I was running into when I picked it previously is that some of these green ones is that the skin was really tough. So I was having a hard time eating the grapes. I was having to spit out the skin. That's kind of when I figured out that, obviously it's not a Thompson seedless. It must be something else. These are red grapes, not green grapes. But that was really good. I would recommend planting some grapevines. Like I mentioned before, they do really well here in the Phoenix area. They can take our full sun. They like our winters because it's a little bit more on the mild side, and they create these really delicious grapes. Yeah, that's the one. So definitely, if you plant a red grapevine, wait until they're completely ripe. They are delicious. Like I said before, I'm pretty sure this is a flame seedless grapevine, just from my research, but maybe you guys know a little bit better. This is what the bunch of grapes looks like here. I'm just gonna keep enjoying these grapes. That was a little short episode harvesting our mystery grapes here in Phoenix, Arizona. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Like I mentioned before, if you guys have any questions, whether it be about our grapes or another fruit tree, flowering tree, I'd be happy to answer those. Just comment down below. And of course, if you want to see a video about some of our other trees that maybe I just mentioned briefly, I can definitely do a video on those as well. Thank you all for your support and for watching this channel. I really appreciate you guys, and I hope that you live green, plant lots, and of course have fun. We'll see you next time.